Las Vegas, you are a professional gambler, and your life begins inside the blinding neon glow of casinos that never sleep. The air is thick with cigarette smoke and the constant ringing of slot machines, but all you see is the table in front of you. You are convinced this is freedom, a career built not on schedules or bosses, but on your skill, your nerve, and the promise of riches only a hand of cards away. You sit down, and the adrenaline rushes through your veins, as if the entire world is holding its breath. The first time you win big, the chips pile up like proof that you were right to take this path. You feel untouchable, as though the numbers bend to your will and the odds favor you alone. Around you, dealers shuffle, dice roll, the roulette wheel spins, and it all feels like a symphony written just for you. That first victory convinces you this is the life of legends, and you drink in the moment like a drug that makes you crave more. But as the nights stretch on, the illusion begins to crack. The casino has no clocks, no windows, and hours blur until days lose meaning. You spend night after night under the same artificial light, fueled not by meals but by burnt coffee and stale cigarettes. Because you cannot leave the table, not even for food. The hunger in your stomach is easier to ignore than the hunger in your chest for the next hand. You tell yourself you are working, calculating, controlling the game. In reality, you are chained to it, your mind racing faster than your pulse as you scribble invisible equations in your head, probabilities dancing and dissolving before you can pin them down. The chips you lose feel like skin torn from your body, and the chips you win buy you nothing but the right to stay in the chair a little longer. Every victory is temporary, every loss permanent. The walls close in with every deal, every spin, every dice roll. You think you are winning, but you are not. You are only buying more time before the inevitable collapse. The pressure builds until you can hear it in your ears, louder than the clattering chips, louder than the laughter of tourists who came to play, but not to live here like you. They go home to their beds, their lives, their jobs. You go back to another table, another bet, another desperate attempt to prove you are in control. But deep down you know the truth. The game owns you. You wake up long after the sun has risen, the curtains still drawn tight because daylight feels like an enemy. Your body aches from sitting in the same chair for 12 straight hours. Your eyes sting from staring at cards, dice, or glowing screens. And your breath tastes of stale coffee and cigarettes. You rub your face, knowing the day has already slipped away, but you cannot afford to stop. Every hour away from the table or the online lobby feels like lost money, a chance slipping through your fingers. So you drag yourself back, still half asleep, already calculating the odds of your next move, already replaying the mistakes of yesterday, already convincing yourself that one more session will set things right. This is the cycle that never ends. To outsiders, your job sounds glamorous. A career of freedom where you call the shots and live on your own terms. They imagine expensive suits, glasses of whiskey, women laughing at your side while you rake in chips. The truth is far darker. You are not free. You are enslaved by numbers, by probabilities, by the fear of losing what little remains. Your face has to be stone at all times, never betraying doubt or desperation. A twitch in your lip, a glance too long at the wrong card, and others at the table will rip you apart. Even when you win, you cannot smile because showing joy means you are vulnerable. Even when you lose, you cannot grimace because showing pain means you are weak. Holding that mask for hours breaks you more than the losses themselves. Friends stop calling. Family stops asking how you are. At first, you told yourself it was because they did not understand the life you chose. But in time you realize it is because you pushed them away, ashamed of the debts piling up, afraid they will see through the lies you tell about how well you are doing. You begin hiding bills under stacks of papers, dodging phone calls, lying about where you spend your nights. The casino becomes your only home, its artificial lights your only sunrise, its false energy your only source of company. People around you are not allies but competitors, each one ready to take what is left in your pocket. You grow paranoid, watching every glance, every hand, every move as if someone is always out to get you. Sleep becomes scarce, your body runs on fumes, and your mind never stops racing. You tell yourself this is work, that you are putting in hours like anyone else at a job. But there is no paycheck, only the temporary relief of not losing everything today. Each morning feels heavier, each night feels longer, and the fear of what happens when the chips finally run out gnaws at you like a shadow you can never escape. You are not the first to believe gambling could be a profession, and you are not the first to discover how cruel the game becomes when it decides to take everything back. The history of gambling is littered with men who rose higher than anyone else, only to collapse harder than most could imagine. Their names are etched into the lore of Las Vegas and poker halls, not because they lived happily ever after, but because they are cautionary tales of what happens when you dedicate your life to chance. Take Stu Ungar, for example. Born in New York City in 1953, he was a prodigy at cards from a young age. By the time he entered the world of professional poker, he was already feared at the tables. He won the World Series of Poker main event in 1980 and again in 1981, achievements that made him a legend before he was 30. 16 years later, in 1997, he made an astonishing comeback and won the main event a third time, cementing his reputation as one of the greatest natural card players in history. Yet genius did not save him. By 1998, Stu Ungar was found dead in a cheap motel room on the Las Vegas Strip. He had no money, no family by his side, and no glory left, consumed by gambling debts and a crippling addiction to drugs. His life was proof that brilliance at the game does not protect you from its destruction. Then there is Archie, the man whose story became legend under the name The Run. In 1992, Archie walked into Las Vegas with only $50 in his pocket. Within a span of a few years, he had turned that small sum into more than $40 million by dominating high-stakes poker, pool, and casino games. For a moment, it looked like he had beaten the system, like he was the living embodiment of luck itself. But luck never stays. By 1995, he had lost it all, every cent, one hand and one row at a time. Years later, in 2013, Archie was arrested for marking cards in a blackjack game in a California casino. The man who once seemed untouchable was reduced to desperation, exposed as another victim of the endless hunger for more. And then there is Terrance Watanabe, heir to the Oriental trading company fortune. In 2007, his story shocked even Las Vegas, a city accustomed to excess. Over the course of a single year, Watanabe lost an estimated $204 million at Caesar's Palace and the Rio. It is believed to be the single largest losing streak by one individual in Las Vegas history. He drank heavily, played recklessly, and the casinos allowed it because he was their perfect customer. His losses accounted for nearly 6% of the revenue of Harris Entertainment that year, a staggering reminder of how the house always wins. Even a man born into immense wealth could be drained to nothing. These men were not amateurs. They were not tourists chasing a thrill. They were the best of the best icons of the gambling world, each at the top of their game. And still, the game broke them. If legends like Stu Ungar, Archie, and Terrance Watanabe could not escape the collapse, what chance do you have? The house waits, patient and smiling, knowing that in the end, everyone falls. The risk you face is not only measured in money, but in the toll it takes on your body and mind. You never relax, not truly, because every win feels like a lie whispered into your ear. A fragile victory already dissolving into the fear of what will happen in the next round. When the dealer pushes chips toward you or the dice land in your favor, your chest tightens instead of loosening. Your heart races as if it might break through your ribs, because you know the wheel will turn again, and the same table that smiles at you tonight will devour you tomorrow. Even when you leave the casino or close the laptop, the anxiety follows you home, clinging to you like smoke. Sleep is shallow, haunted by numbers, odds, and hands replaying over and over in your head, and when you wake, the panic is waiting. You check debts you cannot pay, loans stacking like bricks on your chest. Messages from banks and shadowy collectors demanding what you do not have. Some gamblers turn to stimulants to keep playing through the night, pills to sharpen focus, or alcohol to dull the fear. Others light cigarette after cigarette until their fingers tremble and their lungs feel scorched, all just to hold themselves together a little longer at the table. Your body weakens under the strain. The constant lack of rest turns into headaches, shakes, stomach cramps, a hollow feeling that food no longer fixes. The mirror shows someone older than your years, eyes bloodshot, skin pale, lips cracked. You tell yourself you can push through it, but the body is not built for permanent war, and that is what gambling demands. The war is fought inside your head as well. Anxiety gnaws at every thought. Paranoia whispers in your ear, and you start seeing enemies in every face. If someone laughs too loudly at the table, you think they are mocking you. If someone bets boldly, you wonder if they know something you do not. Even in silence, the pressure suffocates you, because the mask of calm you wear never comes off. The poker face that hides fear from opponents becomes the face you wear everywhere, even with people you love. It distances you from them because they cannot see the storms that rage beneath the surface. You live as though every moment is an ambush, as if you are trapped in a battlefield that never ends. Each spin, each shuffle, each hand is another shot fired at your nerves, and the battlefield never lets you leave. Whether you win or lose, the fight continues, stretching endlessly into the next night, the next week, the next year, until you forget what peace ever felt like. The end of this road is almost always the same, no matter how strong you believe you are, no matter how many times you tell yourself that you are different from the others who fell before you. You spend years convincing yourself that you are in control, that your discipline will protect you, that your strategy will outlast the chaos. But in the end, every gambler finds the same truth waiting like a shadow that cannot be outrun. The life you imagine filled with riches and freedom shrinks into a prison built from debts, broken relationships, and a body worn down by stress. Many professional gamblers end up bankrupt, stripped of everything they fought for. They sell their homes, their cars, even family heirlooms, anything to stay in the game a little longer, chasing the lie that one more win will make everything right again. Others vanish into the margins of society, drowning in debt, hiding from collectors and loan sharks, surviving on scraps while their names disappear from the tables they once dominated. Some cannot bear to wait at all and take their own lives, unable to endure another night of fear, another morning of shame. The stories of those endings rarely make headlines, but they are countless, and they echo through every casino floor like ghosts you cannot see. You thought you could outplay fate, but gambling is not a profession built on skill alone. It is built on risk that never stops taking from you until nothing is left. The luxury you imagine is an illusion, a flicker of neon light on a dark street. For a moment, you may hold the spotlight, win big, and feel as though the world belongs to you. But that moment fades, and what remains is the hunger of the game demanding more of you every day. You sacrifice sleep, health, friendships, love, and in the end, even your sanity, all fed into the machine that never stops turning. Every bet you place is not simply money on the table. It is a piece of yourself you will never get back. You believe you are the one moving the chips, but the truth is the opposite. The game moves you, pushing you deeper into its grip, stripping you of choices until you no longer know where you end and it begins. The game does not need to destroy you quickly. It has patience. It will take you piece by piece, year after year, until the person who once sat at the table is unrecognizable. And when it is done, when there is nothing left to take, you will understand what all gamblers eventually learn. You never controlled the game. The game always controlled you.